Hey everyone! I was asking you all earlier on Instagram whether you would like a Q&A video or something entirely different. The resounding response was yes. The first question is from Anna Annalicia05. You have said when it comes to buying your first luxury purchase, do you suggest buying something small like jewellery or SLGs, or should you start with a bag? Let's say you've saved up enough for a pair of Chanel earrings, but really you're after the bag. I do this a lot. I will be on a saving journey and then I'll see something else that isn't quite what I want, but I'm like, shall I just get it? Because, you know, because I've got this money saved. And I always think that if you want the bag, even though it's tempting to buy like jewellery or SLGs now, stay focused on the bag. The next question is from Alexa90, and you have said that you hope this question is not rude or too blunt. Alexa, I've said to all of you, you cannot offend me. Always say what you want, ask me what you want. I don't have a problem with it. Do you buy all of these luxury items on credit? If not, what pieces are a good starter signature piece? And what can you acquire without going into debt? Thanks for sharing with us. Alexa, absolutely. I buy most of my things on credit, and I do that because if anything goes wrong with them, I have that insurance. I think your question is more relating to, do you buy them on credit and then not have the money to pay the credit card off at the end of each month? Now, I am not going to dictate to any of you what you should or shouldn't do, but if I can give you one piece of advice, I was an idiot when I was at university. I got my student loan. I was like, oh my God, I'm literally rich here. I'm gonna go crazy. I went to university in London. Myself and my friend were obsessed with Dior. I like cringe when I think about it. We went into Harrods. We just both went crazy in there. I bought the t-shirt, the scarf, the belt, like literally I bought all of this stuff and I'd spent all of my money. As tempting as that bag or that pair of shoes are, it is never worth it. Once you've got that bag in your hand and a couple of months have gone past and all you're doing is paying off the monthly interest and maybe a bit extra whatever you can afford to put on the credit card, that bag ends up being so much more money than what it actually was when you bought it. If, however, you are buying designer goods and you are paying it off each month, then I do recommend using a credit card all the time if you can, particularly when you're buying online from places like Vestiaire Collective. I've only ever bought one thing off there and I was safe with it, but I would always use my credit card on there because if ever the product turns up and it's fake or broken or something, I phone up Barclaycard, no questions asked, they give me my money back and then they go and deal with it. So to me, that's why I use my credit card for everything. Plus as well, there's like loads of perks to using your credit card, like air miles and stuff like that. Julia Mitt, you want to know, what do you think about a career that makes you happy and is fulfilling and considered intellectual, but on the other hand, will never let you have the lifestyle that you want? I don't think anything really. I don't really have a thought on it. I think it's a very personal decision. I know they say that money can't buy you happiness, and it can't, but I've also been in a situation where I have had no money. I've been in extreme debt and I haven't been able to pay my debt, and let me tell you, not having any money does not make you happy. In fact, if anything, it made me really unhappy because I was in a situation where I was held back financially. If you are fundamentally wanting a lifestyle that the job you're doing isn't going to fulfill, then that's really a question up to you as to whether you want to sacrifice that lifestyle to do the job that you love. Is it silly to change your career if you are on the peak of it, but you know that there is no more growth, no more barriers to overcome? If you are already making pretty decent money, is it worth the change? I think it's always worth the change. I did that a couple of years ago. I was on good money, I had a nice life, I was very secure in that job. I decided to go because it wasn't challenging me anymore, and that was a real tormenting thing. Do you know something? I decided that I wanted to go in April and it took me until the following January to actually do it. In my head I was like, you're bored, you're really bored, you're just here because you know what you're doing. So I completely understand. I think you should make the jump. I think you should do it. The next question is from Karina Mixgirl. How do I do my work, YouTube, chores and cooking and you say, because I always look really put together. Karina, you are so sweet. When you work for yourself, you have to be very regimented and very strict, because it's very easy to do one of two things. Either to think to yourself, oh, I'm going to take the day off today, and then everything falls to the wayside, or to work yourself silly and you don't get a day off at all. And both directions are bad. Now, the tricky thing that I have is, because I do YouTube, I struggle for those days off. If I didn't do YouTube, I could easily take a weekend, but I quite like YouTube. I enjoy it, and once the content's up, I enjoy it, and I like talking to you all, so that's why I do it. When it comes to cleaning, I couldn't clean the place on my own. I have tried. It takes me the best part of like a day and a half to do it really well. So what we do is, when it gets to a certain point where we're looking around the place and it's a complete mess, we just both take like 2 to 4 hours off our work, and we both do different things, and that's how we do it. And last week we had a couple of cleaners do a trial. That was really nice actually, when they left and you had this clean house. The only thing I didn't like about it was 2 things. First of all, they broke the kitchen tap. I don't know how they did it, but we've got the tap in the kitchen's quite long, and after they left I went to make a coffee, and literally the long bit where the water comes out just fell off, and all the water's pouring out, and right now we've had to turn the water off under the sink. We've had someone come in. It's going to cost £500, because you don't realise those taps are expensive. So that was the first thing, and I just wish they'd told me instead of not saying anything. It's completely smashed off, and they'd like balanced it back on top. That was really annoying. But also, when I went and looked round, you know when you clean your own place and you have a certain standard, and then you go and look round after it, you can see someone was just trying to get the job done as quick as possible. I want to do the cleaner thing because I think that's going to help on time, but at the moment I just stick to a schedule, and David and I clean, and that's it really. And cooking, we both cook together. We both really like cooking. Stacey Galbraith, you have said, what is my favourite alcoholic drink? And do I drink regular? And do I drink wine? Or if I do drink wine, what is the brand? I'm not very good with alcohol actually. I'm a bit of a lightweight. I really enjoy champagne. I love white wine, but if I drink any sort of wine, I don't know if it's to do with sulfites or things like that, but I get a really bad headache immediately. My favourite drinks are vodka Diet Coke, or what I'm drinking at the moment is Aperol Spritz. The Norfolk girl, if you could start your career over again, is there anything that you would want to do differently? Like a different job? Love watching your videos, you're very down to earth, and you come across as someone who you can be friends with. Thank you so much for your question and for feeling that way. I wouldn't do anything different, no. The one thing, if I can convey anything to you, never have regrets about anything that you ever do in your life. There was a period of time where I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I think that's very normal, and it worried me silly. Like, all I worried about was, I'm in this dead-end receptionist job which I can't stand. All I do all day is yawn. I leave exhausted because I've not had any responsibility all day and it's boring, and I used to really worry about, is this my life? I eventually found out what I wanted to do because of that job, because I was working with a marketing agency on a campaign, and they invited me over to watch the campaign happen. And that, as soon as I walked in that place, it was like a design studio, and I walked in and I thought, this is what I want to be doing. Please, if it is possible, don't have regret. The choices that you made back then were right at the time. So it's easy when you've moved on and things have changed and you're in a position where you could have accepted whatever that was, to look back and go, oh, I should have taken that. But at the time, you've got to remember, at the time, that decision was right by you. Queen Fly, you have asked, out of all of the luxury vehicles you have owned, which one is your favourite and why? Hands down, my favourite is the Porsche. I know I get loads of you saying it's Porsche. It is Porsche, but in the UK, if you called it that, people would like hit you in the face. That car is a true everyday vehicle. I've taken that car to the tip. I took apart a wardrobe a while ago, and I took the roof off and I put it in the car and drove it to the tip. You can do so many things with that car, and it's a car that I can see myself keeping forever. David's got this thing where once a car is 3 years old, he's like, we've got to get rid of it because with him, if he owns it, it breaks down every time. It's a running joke we've got going on. Pro Fish Locker. You left loads of questions and I like all of them, but this one I thought was really good. What is your honest opinion on influencer? For you, the word influencer is so negative, and you personally listen to recommendations by YouTubers who actually have real jobs. I guess the way I feel about it, being someone that's in it, does feel negative, and at times it does feel toxic. The other day I was scrolling through, and you know you get those pictures like close up of someone's mouth where they're wearing a lipstick. Well, I'm so used to seeing those pictures where the lip is cut out exactly. Do you know what I mean? They use Photoshop and they cut round it. Then they blur the lip underneath or whatever, and then they reapply the cutout version. So it's got a perfectly straight edge on it. So you always see those pictures, and I was scrolling through the other day and there was a close-up picture that I think Mac had up, because Mac's makeup pictures, they don't seem to doctor them. Some of their pictures look awful and it's like, wow, but then you look at it and you think, well, that's realistically how it would look. Certainly if I did it. Anyway, there was this picture of someone's mouth, the lipstick was all wobbly, and I looked at it and I stopped and I was like, oh my god, how can you put up that picture? And I thought to myself, I thought, what am I saying here? That looks like a normal mouth. This is what Instagram has done. This sort of, these perfect images have become normal. Even with my pictures that I put on Instagram, I'm not going to put up a gross picture of like a bag that's next to a pile of trash. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to make sure that picture looks really nice, because that's what Instagram's about. No one wants to see a bag next to a pile of trash. But the same thing goes with bloggers, is that it's very easy on the face of it to look at their videos, to look at their blog, to look at their Instagram, and to see what you see through those windows, and you don't actually see the background bit. Joe Hotot, you have sent me a question that says, hi Sophie, you've mentioned previously that you suffer with anxiety. I wondered how you cope with it each day because you come across so confident. I do get anxiety. I had it a bit today, it's gone a bit now. I think it's because I'm talking to you, so I don't think about it. Interesting your question, Joe, because I think that confidence and anxiety are two separate things, and you can be really confident and have extreme anxiety, or you could have no anxiety at all and lack confidence entirely. One thing that's helped me, Joe, well, there's a couple of things that help actually, but the first thing, and I actually read it on a blog years ago, and it's really good, is next time you get anxiety, take a moment, sit down and ask yourself in your head, why am I anxious? And it might be something really small, like, I need to go and get groceries today, but I can't be bothered to leave the house. It could be something really, really small. That anxiety down, get yourself a book. I have a book for everything, but the anxiety book is just living it. Write down what your anxiety is and then break that anxiety down. Why don't I want to leave the house? Well, it's because I've got to put my makeup on. Why is that a problem? Well, because I don't like people seeing me without my makeup on. Why should I care? Oh, because I don't like being judged. So do you see what I mean? You break it all the way down until you get to what the actual root is, which is I don't like being judged. I started doing that with every single anxious thought I ever had, and I realised that the root cause of all of my anxiety basically boiled down to control. And as soon as I understood that, I was able to address that and move forward, but I still get it. Exercise for me works quicker to soothing my anxiety than anything ever could. If I get anxiety, what I do is I put on my gym kit. I don't even go to the gym a lot of the time. I will go for a run. Lauren Barnett, you want to know tips for going to a job interview. First of all, always go with a pen and paper. The amount of people that come into an interview and they're just like empty-handed, and then they kind of sit there like a sack of potatoes and you're asking them questions and they haven't really thought about it beforehand. I will say this now, and I want to share it with any of you who are going through interviews at the moment, or any of you who are wanting to progress. You would be amazed the amount of people that are not very good in interviews, and I'm not even talking about your ability to talk or conduct yourself. I'm talking about the work that goes in to the prep before that interview. Most people don't do that. If you do that and you demonstrate it, you're already one step ahead. Do some research on the company beforehand so that if you do get asked questions, like basic questions like why do you want to work here? If you've researched the place and there is an actual tactical reason why you do want to work there, then it's good to be able to say. Whenever I've been for interviews, one of the things that's really helped me, I would go to an interview with work samples. Even when, right, let's say you're at university, but you don't have any work samples. Well, you will have work samples from university, assuming that you're going into a job that's related to your degree. Take those with you because it becomes a talking point, but also it shows that you're tenacious. Next question is from Fazena B. Do you go to YouTube related events and do you turn down sponsored videos? And if so, is this bad for your YouTube career? When you do YouTube, you get invited to a lot, but probably 10% of the things you get invited to are worth going to. So I do go to the odd event and they are things where I feel, A, like I'm excited, I want to go to that. For example, like the Christian Louboutin event last year, which was just amazing. The other events that I go to are ones where I feel like there is a product that I would like and therefore I feel that you would like. Do I turn down sponsored videos? Yes, I do. Last year I did 3 sponsored videos. I do them occasionally and I do them when the brand is one that I'm already talking about. The ones that I turn down are ones that I'm not talking about and know I wouldn't talk about again. Let's imagine Primark said to me, can you do a video? I don't shop in Primark and it's not my thing. So doing that would be disingenuous. I think that's the difference. The other reason why I do them a little bit here and there is because YouTube is a very expensive thing to do. You've got to pay for the software, that's like £300. I pay for a music library that's £80 a month where you can get royalty-free music. These cameras are always breaking. I'm on my 4th camera now and they're £600 a time. Plus there's the time that comes into it. The list goes on and it's a very pricey thing to do. So for me, from a business perspective, every so often, if a brand I'm already, let's say Chanel come to me and they're like, can you do us a video? And guess what, we might pay you something as well. That's a double win for me because it clears off my costs associated for the, for that quarter, let's say. But also, if I feel fundamentally the topic is one that is going to help you, then I'll do it. I'm going to leave a link to my top in the description. I'm going to quickly show you my watch. One of you the other day was asking me about this because it hadn't turned up. UPS had lost it. This is from George and I was so excited about this. I ordered this for Valentine's Day. Went missing, turned up last week. I mean, my phone, by the way, I'm going to link to where I got this done as well. My friend did this. She's got amazing skills. I want to thank all of you for watching and all of you who left me questions. Anyone whose question I didn't read out, I'm really sorry, but this video is really long.